Good morning and welcome back to Black Bear Forge. Last week at this time we took a look at the Graff Black Diamond cutting blade, and I said I had an extra blade to give away, and today I'm going to announce who the winner of the blade is, plus one of the Hook of the Week projects, a few stickers, maybe some other Black Bear Forge stuff that I might have laying around. We'll see what I've got. And that's really one of the main purposes of the video today, but I'm going to save that for the end just to add to the suspense. This is also a good time though to answer a viewer question. Rob had a question about my swedge block stand. I've sort of shown it before, but not in any detail. So today I'll show it in a little more detail. This won't be a how to build a stand. I'm just going to describe my stand and maybe explain what I might do different if I were making a stand in the future. So we're going to go take a look at that. And before we do that, I got something really special in the mail all the way from the UK, and this comes from one of our younger viewers who is just getting excited about blacksmithing, and I think that's just wonderful. And this comes with a letter that says, "Thank you for the neat stuff you make. We like watching Hook of the Week when you come home from church. I like the Halloween spookies you made too. I made this picture of your shop. There's a heart, a thumbs up, an anvil, glasses, bear paw, some tongs, a fire in the forge, and your smiling face. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Lots of love from Grace." And that came all the way from the UK. And Grace, of course, you get a thumbs up and you get a big heart on the comment, even though I can't actually stick that on there, but the thought's there anyways. And here is the picture that Grace made for us here on Black Bear Forge. So thank you, Grace. That is really special. I think I've got a magnet somewhere, and I'll put this up on the locker where I've got all the stickers. It's really heartwarming for me to know that younger people are getting interested in blacksmith and they're getting excited about the craft. But remember, if you're going to start forging, make sure you have adult supervision and your parents' permission, because this can be a little bit dangerous and there can be some risks of fire, burns, other injuries, things like that. So stay safe. And of course, wear your safety glasses. So, back to the swedge block stand. So here is the stand in question. This is just an angle iron stand. This is just welded up out of what looks like 3-inch by 1/4-inch angle iron. It's what I had on hand. I didn't go shopping for this. This wasn't a big plan or a big project. It was just buying the materials that were laying around, kind of like doing the Hook of the Week. But this stand is low. It's a little bit higher than my knee height here. And I think that works out pretty well because frequently I'm using this to drift something, and this is a much more ergonomic height here than if it was anvil height and it's up here. So this is really good for that kind of work, and it's a good height. But depending on what you're doing, you might want a little higher, a little lower. This also makes a great place for me to set my other swedge blocks. So this then brings them up to a more convenient height. And it really all works quite well. So let's go ahead and take a little bit closer look at what the construction on this stand looks like. It has a shelf down on the bottom side here that is a good place for storing some other stuff and things that get used with the swedge block or just don't have any place else to live sometimes end up on that shelf. But this shelf is so you can stand the swedge block up on its side. And I think we've looked at this in a previous video. Now, I don't know exactly what this swedge block weighs. I can lift it, so it's not much over 100 pounds, if that. But I still find it easier to use a big lever to move this. I just tip it up like this, and then you can kind of work it over. Just make sure you don't get your fingers down in here. Stay up here so when it wants to fall off, it's just no big deal. Yes, a jib crane overhead would be really handy just for moving the swedge block, and I have thought about building one just on my long-term to-do list. So that's what the shelf is for here, and that allows you to use any surface of the swedge block you need for what you're doing. And some swedge blocks you need to access all 6 sides, the 2 flats and the 4 edges. And these smaller swedge blocks are perfect examples of why that can be important. They not only have useful profiles all the way around all 4 edges, but each of the flats is different because these don't have holes that go all the way through them. This one's got a shovel pattern on this side. and spoons and ladle impressions on this side. This one's very similar, but it's all spoons and ladles and dishes and things like that. So when you build a swedge block stand, those things are important. Having a lip around the edge so you can't rattle it off the stand and drop it on your foot is really important, because that would just ruin your day. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, that's a great place for putting these smaller swedge blocks, or at least one of them. One of them has to go on the floor under it. And that is a big advantage of this swedge block, is it makes for a nice storage rack for some of these other tools that are kind of related or simply don't fit on some other tool rack. Now, another little detail on this stand that seemed important at the time, but I don't use it real often, is this solid foot on one side that goes clear across. By having that, I can put a two-wheel dolly under this, and it makes it easier to move the stand. But like I say, I almost never use it. It's not that hard to rock this around, and I don't actually have a dolly in the shop because it would take up space and wouldn't get used very often. So that's just a quick look at that swedge block stand. Now, is that the best design for a swedge block stand? Probably not. In a lot of ways, I prefer a wooden stand. One made out of regular construction lumber, laminated together so that it forms a big block, and then leave a notch cut out of that, put an iron frame around the top. It really works very well. It deadens some of the noise, and it doesn't make the swedge block bounce in use as much as the iron stand does. But if you do that, it's a little bit harder to store all the junk under the stand like I do on this one, and it makes it a little bit less portable, I think, because it's probably heavier than this iron stand is. So it's really just up to whatever your personal preference is, and whether you're more comfortable bolting a bunch of 2x12s or something like that together to make a stand, or whether you're more comfortable fabricating a stand out of angle iron, which requires that you have a welder. So if you don't have a welder in your shop, the timber stand is probably a better way to go. But I promised you we would have a winner for the Graff Black saw blade, and we do have a winner. I picked that out through a random comment generator this morning, and I have already sent the winner a reply comment to his comment to let him know that he won. So Doug Franklin, thank you for entering the contest. Thank you for watching the video. I've got a blade for you. I've got at least one hook for you. I'm going to have some stickers for you, and we'll see if I've got anything else that just looks like it might be nice to throw in the package. Just shoot me an email with your shipping address, and I will get this stuff off to you probably tomorrow morning. And for the other 700 plus of you who commented and entered the drawing for the blade, I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching the video, but sadly, there can be only one. But we will do other giveaways here on Black Bear Forge. We are a little bit over 5,000 subscribers away from that 100,000 subscriber mark. That is a major milestone. I will probably do a fairly special giveaway at that point, maybe hammer and tongs, something like that. Maybe I'll make a top chisel. But I suspect it will be some forging tools that you'll be able to put to work in your shop. But if you're interested in that giveaway, you're just going to have to keep watching till we hit 100,000 subscribers here on Black Bear Forge. With that in mind, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, I'd love it if you hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of when I make new videos. Stick around, watch a few of the other videos, share the videos with your friends. But then by all means, make time in your day to get out to your shop. Stay safe, wear your safety glasses, and we will see you for the next one.